Hey guys, so I am going to just quickly finish going over the two problems that I said I would go over on Thursday, but we ran out of time. So I'm just going to quickly do question number 32 and question 34. We did questions 22 to 30 on Thursday, and we did it. You can find it right here, 11, 12. Thursday math, I can practice with fractions, operations, and we did all of those problems here, including question 30. But here where it says continued 11, 12, what I am going to do is I'm going to just do these two questions, question number 32 and question number 34, and that's it. So question number 32 says, Ashanti has a bag that contains 4 1/4 cups of rice. She uses 2/3 cup of rice. How much rice is left in the bag? So the question, I'm going to highlight the question, how much rice is left in the bag? Now, when it says how much is left, then I know my answer is going to get smaller because we're going to figure out how much is left. So if we're trying to figure out how much is left, I'm going to guess that probably means we're going to have to subtract. So let's figure out how we're going to do that. So Ashanti has a bag of rice that contains 4 1/4 cups of rice. So we know that she has 4 1/4 cups of rice. She uses 2/3. So if she uses 2/3, then she's taking 2/3 away from how many cups of rice she has. So she uses, so 2/3 is how much cups used. So how much is left? Well, to figure that out, I'm going to have to subtract. Now, in order to subtract, I need a common denominator. I don't have that yet. So I need to, for step number 1, I need to find a common denominator. And I'm going to do that by figuring out what number does my denominator 4 and 3 both have in common. What number does my denominators 4 and 3 both have in common? So we've got 4 here, we've got 3 here. Well, what do they have in common? I need to find one number that they have in common. And now that I'm thinking about it, 4 times 3, the smallest common denominator is probably just going to be 12. Because 4 times 3, let me make that a little neater. So 4 times 3 is equal to 12. And if I multiply the bottom by 3, I need to multiply the top by 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. And I need to find a common denominator for the bottom. And I know that 3 times 4 is equal to 12. So if I multiply my denominator 3 by 4, then I need to multiply my top by 4 as well. 2 times 4 is equal to 8. Now I can rewrite, so it's just for the sake of making it a little bit more neat. So I'm going to rewrite this just so it's a little bit neater. I've got 4 3/12 minus 8/12. And now, because I have a common denominator, I found those common denominator of 12, I can subtract. But wait a minute, I can't subtract 3 minus 8. So what do? I regroup. So in order to regroup, I am going to borrow 1 from my whole number, make that a 3, and I'm going to add 10 to my numerator. I had 3. 3 plus 10 is 13. So now I can go ahead and I can subtract because I have 13 minus 8. 13 minus 8. So I'm going to regroup and subtract. 13 minus 8, well, that I can do. So let's see. 13 minus 8, and then I'm just going to bring down my 3. That's just going to stay the same. So I've got 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. 3 and 5/12. And if I want to double check that I'm right, I can do the reverse. 5 plus 8 is equal to 13. So she had 3 and 13/12 total cups of rice. And then she subtracted the amount of cups of rice that were used. And so our answer, 3 and 5/12, is, I'm going to write my answer as a sentence. Ashanti used 3 and 5/12 cups rice. So I wrote my answer in a complete sentence. I showed all of my work. I labeled all of my work. So I am done. That was number 32. Alrighty. Now we're going to go ahead. Just going to put a box around my work for 32 so you can see. I put a box around my work for 32 so you could see exactly, so you can see all of my work. It is labeled. Now, the last question is 34. 34 says, Mara's walk to school is 1, I'm going to highlight as I read, so her walk to school is 1 2/5 miles. She is 5/8 of the way there. How far has she walked so far? Alrighty. So I know that Mara walks to school. If we want to see how far she has walked, how far has she walked, how much has she gone so far, we're going to need to subtract again because we need to figure out the total minus how much she has already walked. So minus how much she has already walked to equal how much she has left. So that's what I'm going to do. She has a total of 1 2/5 total. She walked 5/8. And we want to figure out how much she has left to walk to school. Alrighty, so I can't subtract this how it is, so I'm going to need to figure out a common denominator. I need to figure out the least common denominator. So the first thing I need to do, just like before, is figure out the least common denominator. The least common denominator of 8 and 5. Let's see, what can I multiply them both by? What can I multiply them both by to get a common denominator on the bottom? So again, I'm just finding the least common denominator. And I'm showing you how I'm doing the least common denominator by doing that, color coding that in green. Let me zoom in a little so you can see we're just working on number 34 right here. So we're not worried about Ashanti. Alrighty, so 34, we have 1 and 1. Let's see. 1 and 2/5 and 5/8. What is our least common denominator? Okay, well, 8 times 2 is 16, but 5 doesn't multiply to get 16. So I'm just going to go through, and once I think about it, I think I just need to multiply my denominators by each other. So I'm going to multiply 5 times 8. I'm going to multiply 8 times 5. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 5 is 40. So now I can figure out my numbers on top. 8 times 2, I'm just multiplying across. 8 times 2 is 16. 5 times 5 is 25. Now I can subtract. But before I do, I need to regroup. So first, I figured out my common denominator. Second, I need to regroup before I can subtract. So I'm going to regroup and then subtract after that. So how am I going to regroup? Well, I have 16 on the top. I can't do 16 minus 25, so I need to borrow one. Luckily, this is a whole number. It's really 1 and 6. It's really 1 and 6/40. So I'm going to take away that 1, and then I'm going to add 10 over here. So 16 plus 10 is 26. So really, we have 26/40 minus 25/40. So to get my answer, I need to figure out 26, which I regrouped on top, minus my 25 over the common denominator of 40. So 26 minus 25 is equal to 1, and 40 stays the same. So the question asked, how far does Mara have left to walk? So I am going to answer the question in a sentence. I showed all of my work. I labeled it. So now I'm going to answer my question in a sentence. Mara needs to walk 1/40 left to get to school. So this is my answer. I'm going to circle it. And this is for number 34. This is for number 34. So those are my last two questions. If you have any questions about those, please let me know. Bye.